All right, so today what we're going to be working on is getting us to be able to play this game by the rules. So right now we have it so that the board ends up turning around everything that when we place a piece, but we want to make sure that we are only placing pieces on valid locations. So in order for us to do that, we need to make sure that we have a starting board configuration. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to come over into our constructor and we're going to be adding in the 4 starting pieces. So in board 0, 0, so in the top left, we are going to then make that equal to 1, so that's going to be equal to be a red. Then we're going to do board 9, 9 is also going to be equal to 1, and that's going to be red in the bottom right. So to get the other two, we're going to do board 0, 9. If I can type 9, and we're going to make that equal to 2, and we're going to have board 9, 0, and we're going to also make that equal to 2. And we're going to run this. And now we have our board here. So now we have our starting configuration of the board, and we want to make it so that it can move to up, to the down, or to right from any move that we make. Now, the logical piece is that we figure out where a piece is, and then we move over to up or down, left or right, and that makes a lot of sense. But when we're checking, it's easier to find out where we're actually wanting to move and then checking to see if there's anything within 2 of that particular piece. So it's kind of like checking things backwards. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to close that out. We're going to go back and we're going to make a new method called check valid or is valid. And that's going to return a Boolean. So we can use it in if statements, which is going to be neat. So we're going to do public Boolean is valid. And we're going to take in an X and we're going to take in a Y coordinate. So the first thing that we're going to check to make sure is if it's equal to 0. So we should already have taken care of this through some other programming pieces, but we're going to make sure that we do it again just in case. So first off, we're going to check to see if that particular piece is empty. So we're going to make that equal 0, and we're going to by default say no, it's not a valid move. So we're going to check to see if it's a valid move if there are a piece of the same turn color that as us right here. So let's get started with that. The easiest way is to check to see if anything is above it or below it. So we're going to be using Y first. So if board X, board Y minus 1 is equal to turn mod 2 plus 1. And so we don't have to write that up a million times. What we're going to do is we are going to just do int player, and we're just going to equal that. So just this way we don't have to constantly be checking. Now, when we're doing these minuses and pluses, we have to be very, very careful to make sure we're not going out of bounds. So we're going to check all those things as well. So here's what we're going to be doing. So if y minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0, and this is equal to turn, or player, return true. We're going to do the exact same thing for moving it 2 over. So we have this to protect the data, and then this to do the actual check. We can do the same thing with X. So we just change these to X. And then do the minus 1 here instead of over there. bam, bam. So this will make us so we can check going down and going left. So we need to check to see if we go up and if we go right. So when looking at this, we're going to do something very similar, but the checks are slightly different. So y plus 1 is less than 10, and board x, board y plus 1 here is equal to player, return true. So in this particular example, we are now checking down, or I'm sorry, up. Yeah, this is down because we're doing plus. And we have to change this to 2, 2. And there are ways to automate this a lot better, but this right here is very straightforward and very easy to do. Let's get rid of that. But now once we have our isValid method, we can change this up a little bit. We can come over into our mouse press, and we are going to check to see if this is a valid move or not. So we're going to come here. If is valid, and we're going to do IJ. So if that is true, then you can place the board. I lie. That particular code, this right here flips everything else. We want to make sure before we make any of these moves. So we want to do if it's empty and is valid XY. And this right here will control if we can make that particular move. So now if I click here, nothing's working. I believe red goes first. And it's flipping it kind of opposite, isn't it? So as long as I'm within 2 of a particular color, it looks like it's pretty good. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's go and turn this, and if we have successfully done a turn, we will turn the turn after the flips. That might be the reason why. So we can't click here. Can we click here? We can't click here. Can we click here? Now that was the entire reason going on. So still can't click here, but I can click there. Click here is fine. Click here is okay. Click there. All right, so we are okay. We can go in all the directions. And it looks like we are okay. So I'm going to go here, and let's make sure we can go that way. We can definitely go that way. There's an X. And now we can play the game, and the game forces the players to play by the rules. So good luck at making this. I think you can do it, and you're going to be awesome. Goodbye.